So the Jewish way to win a war is, number one, as quickly as possible.
Okay.
You don't want children growing up and maturing in a war, because then you lose that whole generation. So to drag out a war for more than a couple of days or weeks, it's not just the tragedy of the war, it's the loss of the next generation. They're displaced. They don't have a normal schedule. All they know is war.
You're talking about ours or theirs?
Both. I mean, we're a little healthier, but...
Yeah.
So number one, it's got to be quick. And number two, it has to be decisive. If the enemy is not convinced that they lost the war, then we lost the war.
Mm-hmm. How do we convince the enemy they lost the war?
That's a very good question, because dying doesn't seem to be the definition of loss.
I think we know the answer, actually. I think the only way the enemy understands that it's lost the war is when they lose territory.
True.
That's the only thing that really means anything to them. They don't care about the lives. They really don't.
Yeah.
It's worth it to them. I mean, I'm not saying, they don't love their children and whatever, but they have values that are more important than that. And the land is more important to them than that.
So if we want to get deep into it,
mm-hmm.
these are the followers of Ishmael.
Okay.
Ishmael is not a fighter or a hunter like Esav. He's not going to conquer the land. He knows that. He's not going to conquer the land through force or through armies, because he knows that Eretz Yisrael is an inherited land. It was given to Avraham as a Yerusha. Question is, who inherits Avraham? They, of course, believe that they inherit Avraham, because Shmuel is the older brother.
They haven't read enough of the Bible to know that it's rarely the older brother that actually gets it.
Yeah, Esav made the same mistake.
Mm-hmm.
But Esav thought he could conquer the land because he's a fighter. The Crusades, and Esav realized you cannot own the land, Israel. You can't own it through conquest. Everyone tried, no one succeeded. Not the Romans, not the Greeks, not the Persians, not the Babylonians. They occupied it, but it never became Little Babylon.
They even changed the name.
And it didn't work.
And it didn't work.
Right. So they realized you can't. So they basically gave up. But Yishmael says, the only way to own this land is by inheriting? Well, then I inherit. That's what lies behind the entire motivation. It's a matter of kavod.
Oh, kavod.
Not even land.
Kavod, honor, is a very, very, very important value among our cousins, the children of Ishmael.
Yeah.
Very, very important value, more than for us.
Because Ishmael was sent away, which is a dishonor, and now you have to regain your honor. So it's not even the land. It's the kavod.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the older son, I inherit.
Well, we see that theme of honor in Arab culture. It's a very, very dominant theme. More important, I have spoken to various groups of journalists from all over and whatever, and I asked them, if I ask you, or you ask me, what is the most important value in life, you will say human life. And I will say human life. That's the most important value. But if you ask our cousins, the Ishmaelim, the Arabs, what is the most important value, they will say honor. Honor is the most important value. So if honor is the most important value, you can kill your mother, your sister, your daughter, because they have besmirched your honor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's clear that honor is more important to them than human life.
Yeah.
It's a different value system. I think that's really important to point out.
So this explains almost everything. The world knows now that you're not going to conquer Eretz Yisrael. The only way to possess it is to inherit. And the only one who claims an inheritance is Ishmael. This explains why in all 70 years, we've never made any progress in negotiations, deals, offers. Even when they accepted what we offered, the war never stopped. Mm-hmm. It's not enough. And people ask, we offered you 50%, 90%. Why wouldn't you accept it? Well, now we know why. You can't give me my land. 80%, 20%. It's my land. I inherit it. What did you do to inherit it? You don't have to do anything to inherit. Just be born.
First.
Yeah. That's why saying we have a right to defend ourselves, you're not answering the question. They say, what are you doing in my inherited land? And you say we have a right to defend ourselves. Get your own land and defend yourself. And we say, we're the only democracy in the Middle East. What's the difference? It's not your land. They claim we're not the real Jews. Because if we are, we inherit.
So who are the real Jews?
Lost, gone, whatever. Right? Also, every baby is the enemy. Because every baby inherits. So if there's one Jewish baby in the world, the land could be all his. Explains everything. And what it tells us is, answer the question. If you want to resolve the problem, deal with it. They say they inherit, and we say,
let's share.
We'll give you 2 states. That's it. What do you mean 2? You're going to give me half of my country? All right. So what is the answer?
So what is the answer?
The answer is Muslims have a lot to be proud of. Number one, like Avraham, they never got into idolatry. There are no icons, there are no statues, there are no pictures, isn't it? Number two, they're circumcised, like Avraham. On these grounds, they claim to be the inheritors. But they're not biological descendants. They're intermarried. We are the biological descendants.
Is that the only reason?
That's why we inherit. The only way to inherit is to be a biological descendant.
But Ismael was the son, the eldest son.
Yeah.
But you're saying they're
not. But
not...
the people today are not biological descendants of Ishmael.
And if they were?
Then we would have to fight.
And we are fighting.
And we are fighting.
So some of them might be.
But the real answer is, the Torah says, Sarah said to Avraham, send away the maid and her son, because he will not inherit with Yitzchak. Avraham was hesitant. He liked Ishmael.
He loved him.
Yeah. And God said to Avraham, listen to your wife, because Yitzchak is your inheritor, your heir. It's as clear as can be. So God says the land is inherited by Yitzchak. If we have confidence, and the Muslims are religious people, if you make them aware of what God said, they will not only stop fighting, they will take down the mosque so that we can build a Beit HaMikdash.
That sounds impossible.
Too good to be true?
Absolutely.
A religious person has to have a religious motivation.
Okay.
We've never given them a religious motivation.
How do we do that?
We're a democracy. We're defending ourselves. We were here first. Answer the question. They say they inherit. Your answer is?
Let's share.
Yeah. Trying to prove that we were there, David HaMelech was there, and Shlomo HaMelech was there. Answer the question.
How do we answer the question?
You get up in the UN and you say, people, have you read the Bible? It says Yitzchak inherits. Say it with confidence, everyone will quit. There was a story when Golda Meir was prime minister. She was coming to the United States for a summit meeting. President Nixon, I think it was. Before she arrived, there was a press conference.
United Nations.
The spokesman for the administration was talking to the press. And he made a comment, I just hope she doesn't come here with a Bible under her arm and say the land is ours because it's in the Bible. And everybody laughed. Good joke. But the editor of the Yiddish paper was there at the press conference. So he said to the spokesman, he said, would it bother you if she came with a Bible under her arm? And he became serious and he said, look, we're not officially a Christian country. But if the Bible says, what can we say? We don't realize how powerful the truth is. You simply state the truth. If you enjoyed this conversation or this topic, and you're looking for more information, or you want to hear it again from another angle, there's a way to do that. And that is in this book. It's all there. Order it from Amazon. You can read it, reread it, and share it. These ideas, these messages, this approach to life, this approach to Torah, to meaning, and to morals is vital for the world today, and we need to get this message out to the entire world. It is universal, it's essential, it's indispensable. To support this effort, if you want to be a partner in this crime, check out the link and make a donation. It really helps a lot. And thank you in advance.